Welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Rundown, and quite a bit of action, especially at the bottom of the table this weekend. A few big action at the top of the table, but we'll first start with top of the table. Arsenal, they drew 3-3 at home against Southampton. A bit of a shock result. Southampton taking the lead very early through Alcaraz. Great finish. Sloppy by Arsenal. It's what happened against Bournemouth. They went down early. Getting a bit of a habit of that recently. Arsenal defensively, they were a bit shaky. I think it's 5 games in a row in the Premier League without a clean sheet, especially at the Emirates. A really bad defensive because they had 21 in 16 at the Emirates, so which is the fourth worst defensive record in the league at home, which is a bit strange considering they're top of the table, but just a very weird stat. I don't know what it is about the Emirates. They just go all out attack and leave themselves over defensively, but it's what it is right now, and just very strange. And Southampton, credit to them, they've been really bad attacking wise recently, and they took their chances. Unlike a few games, especially last weekend, they took their chances. Walcott took a second chance. Poor defending again. Zinchenko, Partey. The gaps between the defenders were too big. No one tracking runs. Good from Southampton. But Arsenal showed good, especially Martinelli in the first half. They showed good composure to stay in the game. Didn't let it go 3. I think it was Martinelli who got the goal to make it 2-1. But then in the second half, for some reason, Southampton shares took off Alcaraz. I know they scored after that, but why are we taking off the guy who just got your goal and assist? Bit strange, but there we are. Lianco got the third goal, which made it 3-1 Southampton, and with 5 minutes left in the game, you got to see that out. You got to see that out. They would have been a few points off getting out of the relegation zone. Another win would have got them out of the relegation zone. With 5 minutes left, I know you're bottom of the table against the top. You got to see that out. You got to see that out. 2 goals, you can't concede a 2 goal lead like that. Any team with 5 minutes left, you can't do that. Really, really poor from them. Really poor. And then, but credit to Arsenal, they didn't give up. They kept going. Good work rate. They could have, got another goal for another couple of minutes longer. Got some in good positions. Gabriel Jesus missing a couple of chances. They probably should have, made best of the chances at the end, especially Gabriel Jesus. But it is what it is. A bad result for them. Playing bottom of the league at home, you can see 3 goals. That's not a good sign for a team at the top of the table. And in any other circumstance, the Premier League would be out of their hands right now. With City having enough games and points to catch up, but they face City next on Wednesday. If they lose that, then it's completely out of their hands. If they win that, the title is back in their hands. And just with Sleep out, with Holding in there, Partey not looking great, defensively looking a bit of a struggle. I don't see them beating City. I don't see them beating City. The way they've played the last few games, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, just defensively all over the place. You can't be seeing 7 goals in 3 games and win a title against a team what Manchester City are doing right now. That's it. But sad for Southampton. It would have been a great relegation battle, even better if Southampton could close the gap. But I think, I think that's done for them now. If they hadn't really any chance, I think they would have got the maximum points in this. But they would have taken a point and they got a point. But under circumstances, it's a bit disappointing for them. Fulham 2, Leeds 1. Again, disappointing from Leeds. Really bad from them. Really bad. Just again, individual defensive mistakes costing them again. Like in the first half, they were all right. They didn't do anything going forward at all, but didn't let Fulham do anything after the back-to-back defeats, heavy defeats to Liverpool and Crystal Palace. You just got to see a draw or a win out in this game, not concede too many chances, and just see out, not go too far attack. Just be a solid team performance. And for the first half, it was that nothing really happened. They had a few attacks. Fulham had a few attacks, nothing really happened. But the second half, defensive errors costing them again, and that's just the defense. They individually bad. This is why you probably shouldn't buy a load of players from the Austrian league. Like one prospect from the Austrian league is probably fine, maybe 2. But having a defensive back line that spent half of the season and one of them the whole last season in the Austrian league, and an attacking midfielder who spent the season in the Austrian league, Nonto was in the Swiss league. I know they're decent, but come on. It's not very good. You're not going to be winning games when you're playing them kind of quality players. Then you're also partner of Koch, who isn't very good. Coop, who's good leader. They kind of need out the back of leader, but he's not very good. Maybe he's mistake prone at the moment. And yeah, defensively, it's a shambles for them. Completely. Bielsa couldn't get it going for them defensively. Marsh couldn't. Grazia couldn't. Maybe the director of football owners should look at themselves in the mirror a bit, because their transfer strategy has been terrible. If you look at the winter transfer window, the 30 million odd they spent on Jorginho Ruta, not even getting on the pitch in this game. Your 30 million record signing, not even getting on the pitch when you're chasing the game from relegation. That's not a good sign. You could have spent that money, experienced defenders, but they like the shiny things there apparently. But yeah, averaging 2.87 goals per game against since that first win under Southampton under Grazia. Not sustainable. You can't stay in the Premier League conceding that many goals a game. No clean sheets either. Over 1.5 expected goals against in 7 and 9 Premier League games. The two that weren't, Nottingham Forest and Southampton. The two worst teams in the Premier League. So not very good looking for Leeds right now. And it's playing this Fulham team that have nothing to play for. Europeans out the window. They can't go any further down. Should be doing better against that team. But good mentality from Fulham to, bounce back from the 5 consecutive in all competitions. The controversy that happened against Man United in the FA Cup. To bounce back from that. Regain themselves without Mitrovic on the pitch. Very good from them. Very good from them. Now above Brentford into 9, so even better season for them than they already had in this season. But yeah, Leeds now have back-to-back games against Leicester and Bournemouth. 2 massive games. Need to get 4 points. If 4 points would basically nearly guarantee them safety, I think, really. But they got to not lose both. Losing both would be terrible. They can probably lose to Bournemouth and beat Leicester. I think that'll be alright. But they can't lose both. Definitely not. Liverpool 3, Forest 2. Probably, if you want to find a game where you want to know what not to do on set pieces, watch this game by Nottingham Forest. Probably the worst defensive setup you've ever seen from set pieces. They went into half-time 0-0 and it was alright from Forest. They were doing quite well. They didn't really concede any chances. They didn't create many of their own. Looked a bit dangerous on attack, wouldn't he? Against Canati had a bit of a run there, but they didn't really do anything. Liverpool didn't do anything. But defensively, on set pieces, they were all over the place. They conceded from the corner, first of all, and then they conceded from a couple free kicks. This stats will show you how bad they were. So they conceded 0.37 XG from open play. 0.37. That is insane. That is elite against a side like Liverpool at Anfield. 0.37. From set pieces, they conceded 2.47. 2.47. Ridiculous. A side at the bottom table should not be that bad at set pieces. It shouldn't be. That should be their bread and butter. Defend set pieces, score set pieces. They score from set pieces of their own, from Morgan's well from that long throw-in, but you can't be conceding 2.5 XG from set pieces. That can't be on, especially when you're so good from open play. Not allowing Liverpool chances, not allowing Liverpool shots. Really bad, really bad. Really bad organisation, especially that's the second goal I think second or third goal, I can't remember which one, but really, really bad defensive setup. The one where they just didn't look like they didn't realise it was a free kick. That's how bad the defensive setup they were. Yeah. Liverpool, they were like said that open play, they weren't that great. They controlled the game, didn't really allow for us that much. But yeah, it was kind of that kind of game where they're still kind of getting used to the new system with Trent inverting, wingers staying wide. It's just one of them games where in open play they didn't do too much, still getting used to the new system, and from set pieces it was just amazing. Yeah, the top 4 is probably outside, and the 5th place still available. Probably can overtake Spurs. They're 3 points off them with a game in hand. Probably can still overtake Spurs at Forest. No win in 11 now. 8 losses, 3 draws, 9 goals scored, 24 against. And then somehow still a win gets them out of the relegation zone. This is how close it is. I think even a draw might get them out. It's still so close at the bottom, so they still have a chance, but they're not very good at all. They're not good at all. More big movement at the bottom. Leicester Wolves. Leicester winning for the first time in a while. Wolves capitulating at the end. But yeah, it was a good start from Wolves. It's a typical Wolves performance. They're not very a quick team. They're quite slow with it. It's weird. They're not possession based, but they're slow with it. Don't really press high. Don't really sit back. They're like your typical Spanish side against. Tricky to play against, but you probably can beat them if you're smart about it. But yeah, they were too slow on the ball at times. They were too slow, and then also were sloppy with it. So they were slow, and then it just left them quite open to Leicester counters, and Leicester were quite good on the counter in this game. And I know Jose Sá, gave away the penalty for Leicester to make it 1-1, but he was amazing this game. Really, really good. So they could have lost this game 3 or 4-1 Wolves if it wasn't for Jose Sá. But yeah, Leicester really good on the counter in this game. Bit of a weird setup at the start with Vardy, Daka, and Ian actually all starting. Wouldn't know how that would go, but it did. They knew Wolves weren't really a threat in behind. They just kept them in front of them, wait for the sloppy pass, and Wolves are not the greatest quality side, so they will make mistakes, and they made mistakes, and it cost them. But yeah, Leicester first win in 9 games, and now they have games against Leeds and Everton. That's how big they are. They're out of the relegation zone now. Put Everton into the bottom 3, so that's a big boost. Just to be out of the relegation zone is nice. Leaves a little bit of pressure on your team. Wolves face Palace on Tuesday. A win in this game probably would have secured them survival. A win on Tuesday will. But yeah, they're probably safe Wolves, but would have been better to get this win. But they were really bad in transition and in possession, especially really stopping the ball. Yeah, good for Leicester. They needed a win. It's been quite a while. I won't speak much about this game, but Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. Nothing happened. It was one of the most boring games you'll ever watch. 0.9 XG combined, so not even expected a goal in this game, really. It was a game neither team really wanted to do. No one really committed that many players forward. Just even when Palace had the extra man at the end, didn't really do much with it. Back-to-back clean sheets for Palace for the first time this season is something. They've conceded under 1 XG in every single game, and Hodgson's done so defensively. They're quite good. Don't concede many chances. They haven't really created many chances the last 2 games, but I think they're probably safe now. Win against Wolves on Tuesday, and they're safe, or even the draw probably. I think they probably lose every game, probably still safe. But yeah, Everton winless in 5 now. Daesh effect kind of dwindling down a bit. Still no win away from home. 3 losses, 3 draws, 4 goals scored, 12 against. Not looking great there away from home. They were better, more dangerous at Calvert-Lewin up front. They didn't really create many chances. They had a few near big chances. Kind of broke down in some places, but with that guy who can link up, be in the right positions, aerial threat, I think they'll be better with him in the side right now, but still didn't really do anything. Yeah. Brentford 1, Aston Villa 1. First half, nothing happened. A couple near chances for Brentford, really. Villa didn't do anything, but Sharda missed an absolute sitter of a chance to open the second half, didn't they? Went around the keeper, open goal, missed it. Yeah, but then Mbeumo to Tony opened the score. Good combination, really good cross from Mbeumo. And Tony, he's such a great striker, isn't he? But then they kind of sat back a bit too much, really, I think. Especially at the end. Aston Villa really piled it on. They got loads of bodies forward, and Brentford couldn't cope, and then they got the goal through Douglas Luiz. It would have ended Aston Villa's run under Emery, which saw them scoring every single game. They were so close to ending it, Brentford, but Aston Villa just got the goal. 21 games under Emery, and 21 games they scored in 19 in the Premier League. Very, very impressive. Even in their off day, they still got the goal. They're 2 points off Spurs now, and they still have to play them at Villa Park as well, so it's a good opportunity for them. They can get Europa League football ahead of everyone else's season. Very good opportunity for them. Yeah, Brentford now 6 games without a win. Bit disappointing now. They could have been in contention with Villa with European football if it wasn't for this little run they've been on. Kind of dropped them out this race. They're 6 points behind Liverpool, and they've played a game more, so they kind of dropped out of this race, which is a bit of a shame. They've been in it all the season. A couple losses against teams in and around them, and they've kind of fallen off now. Now to the game that everyone wants to talk about, Newcastle 6, Spurs 1. I think Stillini put out the worst defensive setup you could ever possibly put out. He put out Pedro Porro, a right winger slash right back at right back, Perisic, a winger at left back, midfield three of Skip, Saar, and Højbjerg, and it was the worst defensive 20 minutes I've ever seen from a team, especially from a top team as well. All defenders were completely unaware of what they were doing. Romero at centre back, Dyer at centre back. They looked so lost out of that two centre back situation. Completely lost. Porro had no idea where his wide men were. Perisic neither. Credit to Newcastle, they made it that way. The third man runs completely took all the Spurs players out of the game. The interlinking play really, really good. They 5-0 up inside 20 minutes. Insane. Completely tore them to shreds. But yeah. And Spurs had no idea physically. Completely overwhelmed in that defense. I know I said last week that Slini had to change to a forward back, but be a bit more sensible with the forward back. Come on. Don't play Perisic at left back. Don't move to a forward back if you haven't got the right players for it. So bad. So bad. They still created chances. They had a few chances. Kane missed a chance. They had a couple other attacks they could have done better with. Kane scored the goal at the start of the second half. They did get chances from Newcastle, but yeah, it was a bit too late when you're 5-0 down after 20 minutes. But yeah, Spurs look a shambles right now. They've talked themselves into such a bad season. 6 points off top four now, plus haven't played 2 games more. They're out of it. Probably out nearing themselves out of the race for Europe if they carry on like this. And Newcastle still top 4 now, probably, I think, with that one. Yeah. But the Spurs now play Man United, Liverpool, Palace, Brentford, Leeds. It could be a struggle finish for them this season. Really bad. But yeah, Newcastle, insane. 20 minutes, 5-0 up. Wow. Bournemouth 0 for West Ham. Perfect game plan from West Ham. They just let Bournemouth have the ball, and Bournemouth didn't know what to do. Bournemouth play on the counter, they play in transition. And West Ham didn't allow that. They let them have the ball and said, do what you can with it, and they couldn't do anything with it. And that's the quality of what Bournemouth have, and that's not what used to. 64% Bournemouth had in this game of possession, the most they've had all season. And their 3 Premier League games before this, with 50% plus possession, lost all 3. So let them have the ball. They don't know what to do with it. But yeah. Midfielder Paqueta, Rice, and Souček really good. Really good. Really started to work this season. Maybe the reps recently really helped with the Europa Conference League and that. Put some 13th, 6 points above bottom 3 with a game in hand. Yeah, that should really see them safe. The quality of players, no one really thought they were going down with the quality of players. Yeah, Paqueta doing really well. Rice, great goal. Yeah, Bournemouth now have Southampton, Leeds back-to-back, big games for them. Win both, you're sailing, lose both, and you're right back in there. But yeah, that's going to be the episode. Thank you for watching. Back midweek with episodes. But yeah, like and subscribe. Bye.